Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create Facebook lead ad campaigns that work really well. Now, Facebook lead ad campaigns, or Facebook lead generation campaigns as they're sort of properly called and often known by, is something that a lot of first-time Facebook advertisers, relatively new Facebook advertisers start with. A lot stay with lead generation campaigns because they can perform very well. They don't go on to other things, but it's certainly where a lot of people start because they're relatively easy to get going with. You don't need to mess around with the Facebook pixel or anything external to Facebook. So it's where a lot of people start. And because of that, there are some very common mistakes that people often make that they may not be aware of, how to get the best results and things you need to think about and settings you need to get right. So I wanted to create this video to really cover a lot of that. How do you set up lead generation campaigns, lead ad campaigns that can deliver good results, that can consistently perform, and all that sort of stuff. Now, before I get into that, I just want to very quickly ask you to smash that like button on this video. Please click that thumbs up button. That would help me out and be much appreciated. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new and haven't done so already. I release Facebook advertising related content multiple times per week. If that sounds something you're interested in, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. So I'm in an example Facebook ad account. I'm going to go through step by step exactly how I would create a Facebook lead ad or a Facebook lead generation campaign. What are things you need to watch out for? What are things you need to get right? All that sort of stuff. So I'm an example Facebook ad account. The first thing you can ignore this. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and click the green plus create button. Now, obviously, first thing we need to decide is our campaign objective. Now, it's fairly obvious that from the title of this video, lead generation, lead ad, we're going to go with lead generation here, which technically is Facebook's lingo comes under the consideration section. Name your campaign, interestingly, says optional. I would normally give it a name, but we can certainly go through and do that in a minute. So I'm going to click continue, and it's going to pop us straight in at the campaign level. You see campaign details at auctions. There's more stuff down here like campaign spending limits, A/B testing, all that sort of stuff. I would ignore both of those, particularly if you're fairly new, if you haven't launched lead generation campaigns before, or you're relatively new to Facebook advertising, this is where you want to start. That's kind of advanced stuff that I would recommend using later down the line, if at all, and I've got other content about all those sorts of things. But one thing I would do is turn on campaign budget optimization. What campaign budget optimization means is that your budget is set at the campaign level as opposed to the individual ad set level. So with campaign budget optimization, you have one centralized budget for your Facebook ad campaign, as opposed to saying, I want to spend a bit of money here, a bit of money here. You're saying, here's how much I want you to spend, Facebook. Please go out and work out where you should spend that money within my campaign. Which elements, which targeting options, which audiences, which ads are getting me the best results. Divert my budget accordingly. So for basically all Facebook advertisers, I recommend turning campaign budget optimization on. Definitely if you're getting started, and definitely if you're running a lead generation campaign, no reason to not have it on. Then you want to set your budget. So I've got a whole video about setting a starting Facebook ad budget. I include a link to that in the video description below. It's got a lot more details. You want to often work backwards. If you're a business that's running a lead generation campaigns, you most likely want leads. You could want some other things, downloads and some stuff, but you most likely want leads. So work back, right? How many customers do you need? Okay, you need this many customers. How much are you willing to pay per customer? Are you willing to pay $100 a customer or £50 a customer or whatever? Okay, what's your conversion rate? 1 in 5. Right, I'm willing to pay $100 per customer. I convert 1 in 5 leads into a customer. Therefore, I need to generate 5 leads per customer, so $20 cost per lead. Then you realize you need, 30 leads a day, and you can set your budget accordingly. I'm not going to go into too much details on that. As I said, check out the video that's linked to in the video description below for exactly how I go through that process in more detail than I just did there. But just start with a budget that works for you, that makes sense for your business. Especially if you're getting started with Facebook advertising, do not break the bank. Go with something that you can afford. You can easily scale it up later. It's always important with testing, and then you can move on. Campaign bid strategy, I've got other videos about that. You can find out about my YouTube channel. But for now, lowest cost is absolutely fine. It's what I recommend for the majority of advertisers, and you can certainly keep that there. You can see there's, I can get in, edit all these options. There's also ad scheduling and things like that. But again, just go with run ads all the time. So there are lots of things within this process I'm going to go through of creating this Facebook ad campaign that you're like, what? You didn't, set a campaign spending limit. You didn't, change your campaign bid strategy, add a schedule, that sort of stuff. If I haven't covered it, it's because you don't need to at least when you are, in fact, to be honest, it's because you don't need to, full stop. You can get involved with A/B testing and things like that later on if you want. That's quite advanced stuff. You don't need to do it for now, okay? If you're getting your, lead generation campaign set up and you haven't done this a huge amount before, you haven't got years of experience, if I ignore it, don't worry about it. So that's basically all you need to do at the campaign level. We're going to give this new campaign is a little bit boring. It's a little bit non-descriptive, which isn't very helpful if you go on and create lots of different types of campaigns and you want to then be able to reference, you want to be able to know what's that campaign for. If you just have 6 new campaigns in your ad account or 50 new campaigns in your ad account, that's not very helpful. So give it a name that it's going to mean something. I'm going to call this new lead generation campaign, as obviously this video is all about Facebook lead ads, Facebook lead generation ads. Okay, so we want to go ahead and click next. So there's basically 3 levels to a Facebook ad campaign. You've got the campaign level, which is what we just dealt with. You've then got the ad set level, and then you've got the ad level. So you can see these up here. We just done the campaign level, which is like top level settings, things like campaign budget optimization, what objective you want to use is set there. The ad set is very much to do with delivery and targeting. So how, where, and when do you want your ads to be put in front of the people that you're going to specify, basically. Obviously, the ad level is actually what's going to be put in front of them, which we'll get to in a bit. So the lead method that the vast majority of you are going to want to use when it comes to lead generation campaigns is instant forms. Now, that's a little bit different to other Facebook ad campaign types. So if you're running a conversions campaign or a traffic campaign, most of the time when someone clicks on a Facebook or Instagram ad of yours, they're going to be sent through to your website and you're going to, hope that they go on to take certain actions like purchase a product or become a lead or whatever, right? With the lead generation campaign, people stay on Facebook. So instead of clicking on an ad being sent to your website, they click on your ad and they're presented with an instant form. That's what this part is about. Basically a form right in front of them on their mobile device or computer or whatever, where they can enter in their details and basically say, yes, I want whatever it is that you're offering, or I'm interested in finding out more. Here are my details. Please give me a call. Please email me, whatever it is. Okay. So you can obviously get someone to just call your business directly. So if you're like a dentist or something like that, maybe you've got receptionists ready there to take the phone call and you just rather get it done like that. It's absolutely fine. Most people are going to want to go with instant forms, at least to begin with. So that's what I'm going to focus on. You can then basically reach out to your prospects that have put their hand up and said, I'm interested, and progress them along your sales process. Okay, then you need to choose your page. So obviously just make sure you got the right one. Most people are just going to have the one page. I've obviously got access to, I think hundreds, given all the clients we're working with, things like that. Don't worry about dynamic creative and don't worry about a catalog. Just the sort of things I'm talking about, where they're advanced things that you just don't need to worry about yet. And they're not really that important to getting a lead generation campaign up and running and performing well. Budget and schedule, you can set, this just defaults to whenever you're creating this, when I'm recording this video. You can set an end date if you want. To be honest, I would recommend that you monitor your Facebook ad campaigns closely enough. Let's say take a look at them daily. So you can always pause the campaign manually when you decide it's not working or you want to change it up or something like that. If you think you'll forget or whatever, then by all means set an end date for a week's time, 10 days time. That's absolutely fine. But most of the time, given I've literally talked to thousands of Facebook advertisers and I know that the vast majority of them are in their ad account every day. So I'm sure you'll be in there often enough to be able to pause and things like that. But you could just leave that as is. Okay. Then we get into the audience section. So this is, you can say, Facebook's literally got it there. Define who you want to see your ads. This is obviously a really, really important component of Facebook advertising. It's probably what put Facebook advertising on the map as an advertising channel, was the ability to really zero in on your best, most specific prospects that are really going to be into your stuff. So, if you sell something that's really quite niche, you can still reach the people that are into that. It's not like running TV ads where you're just going really broad and just hoping that some of your target market are in there, That has changed definitely over the last 5-6 years. As Facebook has become a more sophisticated advertising platform, they've gotten better at working out for you who is most likely to buy, become a lead or whatever, right? So instead of being ultra specific with your targeting options now, we favor larger, broader target audiences that basically, instead of saying to Facebook, I only want you to advertise to these 50,000 people, you're better off saying to Facebook, here's 1 million people to advertise to, work out which are the absolute best 100,000 for me to advertise to, please Facebook. And Facebook will be able to go away and do that. Very, very clever how it works. It's based on a lot of the data they are able to collect and all that sort of stuff. Okay. So in the audience section, the first part you come to is custom and lookalike audiences. I'll include links to videos on how to create custom audiences and a link to a video to how to create lookalike audiences that will also explain exactly what they are. They are not super advanced by any means, but probably not something you want to mess with if this is your first campaign you're creating, your first lead generation or lead ad campaign that you're creating. You can find out more about those. Definitely something you want to use later on, but for now we're gonna ignore those to some extent. But check out those videos; they'll be in the video description. Lots of links in the video description today, guys. So make sure you check those out. Right. The next thing we need to do is set our location targeting parameter. So businesses that are running lead ad campaigns are often local. I'd probably say more often than not, they're going to be local. Yeah, you have national and international companies, in which case you obviously want to add in your target locations. But I'm going to sort of talk through the two options because your approach to targeting needs to differ depending on whether you're a local business or a national and international business. So if we cover national and international first, let's say I'm advertising to the whole of the UK. Now you can see my potential reach here is 46 million people. So that's how many Facebook and Instagram users there are in the UK. And that's, if I just target everyone, that's who I'm potentially going to reach. Age range, so let's say I'm targeting the UK. Age range default is 18 to 65. If you're targeting the whole country, you can afford to start to be, I would say, a medium level of specificity, if that makes sense. So don't just leave it at every adult, which is what it currently is now. Instead, narrow it down to, for most businesses, let's say the 15, 20-year age range that is most applicable. Some businesses are going to be wanting more specific than that. You know, if you're advertising something just to do with university students, for example, then you absolutely want to make it very specific. Some are going to go, you know what, we have customers 18 to 60, in which case that's absolutely fine as well. But most, let's say you're going to target something like 20-year-olds to 40-year-olds. I'm not saying most are going to do that. I'm saying let's just give this as an example of a business that has a 20-year age range. That basically halves the audience size there. If your audience is very heavily male or female, then you want to go ahead and be more specific. I would say that you want to be at least 75, 80% one way or the other. You know, if you've got a 60-40 split, then absolutely advertise to both. You don't want to reduce your target audience too much. So that's going to mean that a lot of businesses aren't going to meet that sort of 80% male or 80% female. They're going to want to go with both, and that's absolutely fine. Then we get into the detailed targeting options, and here's where you want to not overthink it. I've got a video all about using Facebook's Audience Insights tool. I'll include a link in the video description below that shows you exactly how to use a free tool that Facebook have put together that shows you how to research different interest targeting options and find options that are likely to perform really good results for your business. So that's where you'd want to be adding in the interest targeting options. So let's say, for example, I was advertising my own services. I could go in and put in something like Facebook page admins because, you know, my business is a Facebook advertising agency. We run campaigns for our clients. So anyone who is an admin of a Facebook page could potentially be a good prospect of ours. Okay. I could be more specific and go with something like business page admins because obviously there's lots of Facebook pages that are for like organizations that wouldn't be interested in running any Facebook ads. Might be like local community type stuff, in which case I might want to be more, I deleted the wrong one there. I might want to be more specific and go with people who are admins of business pages because they're more likely to be our customers. Okay. As an example. Now you can see that this adding this in here brings our potential reach down to 370,000. It's probably a little bit small than I would like. My absolute minimum I want to go from advertising nationally or internationally is 250,000, and that's my lower end range. My upper end is about 5% of the target population. So remember that if we're advertising to the whole of the UK, there's 46 million potential reach, all adults. 5% of that is 2.3 million. Okay, so in the UK, I'm going to go with 250,000, my lower end range for my audience size, to 2.5 million as my upper end. In the US, you know, 250,000 would be really quite small. You probably want a minimum audience size of more like 500,000, all the way up to 5% of their Facebook and Instagram users. They have about 250 million Facebook and Instagram users. So you're talking about 12.5 million as your upper end range. 500,000 to 12.5 million, something like that in the US. Quite a big range, right? And if in doubt, larger is better. So 370,000 is a bit small for me. Oh, there we go. I've got exactly 500,000 in there if I go 20 to 50, you know, which to be honest, if we were advertising, we'd probably set that a little bit higher at 25 and we'd go 65 plus. Probably something along those lines. Okay. And business page admins. Now, that's typical if you're going to be advertising nationally or internationally. Now, if you're going to be advertising locally, so let's say, for example, I wanted to get rid of the United Kingdom and I live in a town in the UK called Cirencester. And let's say I wanted to only advertise to people within a 15-mile radius, as an example, which a lot of companies wanting to run lead ad or lead generation campaigns will, right? They will have that sort of area they want to advertise to. If I leave in these targeting parameters, have to be this age, still all gender, have to be business page admin, we get down to 7,200 people. That is way, way, way too small. So when I'm advertising locally, I'm very, very often going to go with all adults, or even younger, depending on what it is you're advertising, if it's appropriate. Gender being all, and no detailed targeting options. Now you can see that within 15 miles, everyone, including that area, is 560,000 people. That's what I'm going to go with, and I'm going to trust Facebook. Remember, I talked about that earlier. Facebook has gotten really, really good at working out who is likely to take your desired action, who is likely to become a lead. So trust Facebook. The campaigns might not perform so well right at the beginning as Facebook's sort of working it out, but after a few days, maybe even a week or so, your campaign should be ticking along very nicely because they're like, right, we know that this type of person is really interested in this particular offer. Okay, so that's something that's very important to be aware of. And if you're advertising locally, which a lot of lead ad campaigns are advertised locally, do not be overly specific. Now, of course, if you're in New York or something, or LA, and you've got tens of millions of people in your local area, well, you can add in some targeting criteria because even though you're advertising locally, there's such a big population, you're fine. But just think about population size and how that impacts on where you can and can't narrow down your targeting criteria. Okay, now we're going to move down. To start with, I would not select detailed targeting expansion. I would leave that turned off. Something you can turn on later once your Facebook ad account's got more data and Facebook has a better idea of who can convert. Okay, I mean, in this case, when I'm advertising locally, I haven't got detailed targeting anyway, so that wouldn't make any difference. But if you're advertising nationally or internationally, I would only add that in after a few months after you've been running a campaign and seen good results coming in. Languages is something you may or may not want to add in. If I'm advertising in the UK, it's just all languages fine. Basically, everyone's going to speak English. That's fine. Some countries obviously have like certain people that speak certain languages versus other languages, so you might want to only work with the French speakers in Canada, for example, or vice versa. So you can add that sort of stuff if you want. Show more options. There's connections and things like that. Not going to get into that. I've got videos all about connections and how people can be related to your Facebook page. I don't want to overwhelm you with this video. I want to focus on the important stuff. Right, then we get down to placement. So placements refers to the locations within Facebook and Instagram that your ads are going to show up in front of people. You could choose just to do Facebook, you could choose just to do Instagram, you could choose to only do the Facebook mobile feed or only Instagram stories. You can do lots of things if you select manual placements and then you get all these various options here, right? The thing is, in fact, if I go back to automatic placements, with a campaign objective like lead generation, you've told Facebook what it is you want, right? So you said Facebook, right, I'm running a lead generation campaign, I want as many leads as possible. So by using automatic placements, you give Facebook that flexibility. Same with the targeting options. You give them the flexibility to find out where's the best place to put your ads. Maybe for your business's Instagram feed. Maybe for someone else's business, it's Facebook feed, depending on their audiences and things like that. They know you want leads because you've selected the lead generation objective. Therefore, Facebook's going to put your ads in the best place possible. They're going to do a bit of testing at the beginning, and then they're going to put your ads in the best location. So with a lead generation objective, you absolutely want to go for automatic placements. If you're running like a traffic campaign or something like that, then you want to go with manual placements and edit accordingly. I've got videos on that in case you want to check those out. But with a lead generation where you've told Facebook exactly what you want, you're not just sending traffic to your website and hoping it then goes on to do other stuff, go with automatic placements is fine. Optimization for ad delivery, don't worry about adding in cost controls at the beginning. In fact, I'd actively recommend you don't do it. And optimization for ad delivery is leads. You don't need to worry about any of the show more options. Keep it straightforward. So all you got to do here is basically go with all the defaults, I believe. Yeah, set up your targeting criteria. and then defaults all the way down with automatic placements, all that stuff. You can crack on and move on to the ad level. Okay, so here we are now at the ad level. Oh, by the way, I should quickly mention, I've just left that a new ad set, but what you would normally do is you would name that ad set the name of the targeting options you use. So in that case, I could just use Cirencester plus 15 miles. Just something that when you're looking back at this campaign going forward, you immediately know what it's for, because I'm only going to set up one campaign, one ad set, one ad here, but it may well be, and I'd recommend that as you go on, you have more ad sets and more ads, and I've got videos about campaign structure and how many ads you should have, all that sort of stuff. I've basically got videos on every Facebook advertising question you can think of. So often just go to my channel, search for the question you've got Facebook ads, and there's likely a video will pop up. But for this purpose, it's just 111. So it's just a good idea to get into good habits of good naming conventions. Likewise with the ad, right? So I'm often going to call an ad something that makes sense. I might describe the image used or whatever. So we have 10 placements that our ads are potentially going to appear on. And here you can see the the various previews. So we can add stuff into our ad here and we can see what it's going to look like on Instagram feed. That's the Facebook feed. Obviously, it's going to look different. Make sure, obviously, you've got the right Facebook page, which we selected at the ad set level, and make sure you've got the right Instagram account selected. If your Instagram account is not appearing, it's probably because you haven't added it into your business manager. Something you can do quite easily. I've got a video all about how to set up a business manager that shows you how to import link up your Instagram account to there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and create an ad, single image or video. We're just going to use an image ad for now. I have a Facebook ad template that I'd strongly recommend you go ahead and download. Completely free to do so. There's a link in the video description below. That's got 6 ads in it where I break down exactly what I'd recommend you include in images, copy, all that sort of stuff, right? I'd strongly recommend you download that and go through it and see some of the details. I'm going to put together quite a quick and rough ad here just to show you the process. But that document has a lot more information on how to create ads that are really going to help get you the best results possible. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is add media, add image. So I'm just going to grab an image. This is a recent thumbnail. What to do when nothing is working. As soon as you select that image, you then need to set it up to make sure that it looks good in the various aspect ratios, right? In general, if in doubt, square images work really nicely. I've got a rectangular one here because I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. In general, square images will work across all platforms. Even stories, square will work just fine. But this will show you what it looks like in the various aspect ratios, and you can have a good play about with that and make sure it looks good on Facebook, on Instagram, stories as well, all that sort of stuff. Okay. Then when you are, in fact, I probably should have mentioned this before the image, but whenever you are running a lead generation campaign, it's very important to think about what it is that you're going to offer, right? So most businesses that, running lead generation campaigns, lead ad campaigns, they want leads, right? How do you get someone to become a lead? Well, normally they're going to be interested in something that you have to offer. So if you're a service-based business, for example, what's the introductory offer that you can use? Could it be a free quote? Could it be a free consultation? Could it be a free strategy session? My business, for example, offers free strategy sessions. So that could be a potential example if you're like a B2B and you're expertise based and something like that. But lots of businesses will offer free consultations, free quotes. Those sorts of things are what someone will go, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get that done, or I want to hire a whatever, or I want to get help with, I want a new kitchen put in. Yeah, I'd love a free quote, or I want to, those sorts of things. And then you're basically you want something that someone can go, yeah, I want that. And then they give you their contact information, and then you can go ahead and contact them. So in this one, I'm going to give the example of a free strategy session, which is what my business would offer. So in the headline, I want to be with lead ads, you want to be very, very clear. Free Facebook advertising strategy session. Super clear. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. The headline should describe exactly what it is you're offering. Free, get a free quote for a brand new bespoke kitchen. Those sorts of things, right? Okay. And then we come to the primary text. Now, the primary text is the part that on Facebook goes above the image. So on the Facebook mobile newsfeed, for example, I put in, primary text, you can see it's popped in above the image, right? different ad placements, it's going to look a little bit different. As I said already, I've already mentioned the Facebook ad template. Go and check that out. That's got much more information than I'm going to give here on how to write really good primary text, so copy above the image. But for example, if I continue the theme of advertising a free Facebook advertising strategy session, as said, this could be a free consultation for your business, a free quote, we'll come and have a look, a free survey, anything along those lines, any of these sort of traditional lead generating offers, you could definitely substitute for those. But if I wanted to write primary text, I've prepared some text that I've used before. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste in here as an example. You could, as I said, exchange this for tailor it for your different business, something like that. Right, so it hasn't formatted properly, so let me just space this out, and then I'm just going to talk through it very quickly in the options as such. Don't worry about this stuff down here. So struggling to make Facebook work for your business. That's using a question at the beginning of your copy is a technique that we often use. It helps people identify with the ad. So if someone's reading this and they have been trying to market their business on Facebook, it's not worked. That line, as they're scrolling through their newsfeed, grabs their attention. They go, yeah, that's me, and they're more likely to read on. Then I say, we can help. As a Facebook advertising agency, we've created hundreds of successful campaigns for our clients in many different industries. There we're establishing our credibility and the upside of working with us. And right now we're offering free 30-minute strategy sessions. So there we're talking about the offer. We're introducing a little bit of urgency, like right now, suggest that maybe we won't be offering it at some point, so you should act now. It's a nice little technique in there. Click the button below to sign up now. So something very, very simple and straightforward like that can work really well with lead generation campaigns. What are you doing here? You're identifying your target market. You're showing them you have something to offer that can help them. You are telling them exactly what to do. Click the button below, sign up. You're saying them what the offer is, but you're doing it very quickly, shortly, succinctly, not tons of waffle, and it's not just one line either. There's a little bit of substance to it. So it's nicely balanced between a load of fluff and just too curt and short and just one sentence of like, get your free Facebook advertising strategy session. It's not going to quite do it. We need to establish we've got a bit of credibility here. Need to help identify with the target market a little bit. Let them know who this is for, right? These strategy sessions for people who have struggled to make Facebook work for their business. Okay? So, as I said, much more detail in the Facebook ad template, but just wanted to give you a quick example there. Right, we've got the headline. Description is what goes in below that. To be honest, if you're getting started, just leave that blank. You could add in something like click the sign up, if I said it right, click the sign up button to book your free strategy. Oh, I can't type. Typing and talking is hard. Your free strategy session today. Something like that, right? You won't see that on mobile feed, but that's going to appear under there on in certain circumstances. But you could leave that blank if you want. Then in the display link, you can put in your website. So for example, we could put in, leadguru.co.uk in there. That would be absolutely fine. You could also just leave it blank, as I said, it's completely optional. If you want to make this as easy as possible, get started with, just leave it blank and crack on. Call to action. Now, normally you're going to use the sign up call to action button. That's the part that dictates what this button looks like. And that's normally going to be the most appropriate. With this, don't overthink it. Just go with the one that's more appropriate to the lead generation campaign that you're creating. If you click on this, you can see there's some options now. It could be apply now. We could say that we're not giving away free strategy sessions where, you have to fill out an application. You have to be approved. We could have apply now, and you could have book now. You could have get offer. So just go with the one that's most appropriate for whatever it is that you're actually offering. Okay. In the case of a free strategy session, sign up makes a lot of sense. And we could also have book now, something like that. Okay. Moving down, don't worry about that branded content. It's just popped that in because I've put Facebook in the name of the ad, but you don't need to worry about that. Okay. And then we get down to question format, right? So you can have different things happen, as you can see, once someone clicks on your ad. So it literally says here, choose how you'd like to collect information from people after they click on your ad. So an instant form, which is the classic lead generation setup, or an automated chat where you can set up basically like a messaging template so that people will talk with each other. That's probably that's certainly a bit more of an advanced technique, not something I'd recommend starting with. Facebook defaults to instant form. That's where I'd recommend you get started. That's the simplest, easiest thing to set up, less likely to make errors, more likely to get leads that you can obviously then follow up with and help convert into customers of yours. Right, so if we go with instant form for the purpose of this video, scroll down and then we've got instant form. We've got some old forms I've created in here. But what we're going to do is just click on create form. And we're going to go through some of the steps and some of the settings in these forms. So I'm just going to leave it as untitled and whatever. First thing you decide is the form type. So do you want more volume? So you want as many leads as possible, or do you want higher intent? It's another way of saying higher quality leads. So you can see the difference here. So more volume is use a form that's quick to fill out and submit on a mobile device. Why does that get you more volume? Well, we know that anything digital marketing related, including Facebook ads, the easier it is for people to take a specific action, the more likely they are to take it. If you put more barriers, more hurdles, more requirements in place, you're gonna get less people. You're gonna keep the ones that are most keen. So you're gonna keep those high quality ones, but you're gonna filter out some of the lower quality ones. Whereas obviously if you go with high intent, it says add a review step that gives people a chance to confirm their info. So if you are running a lead generation or lead ad campaign and you're generating leads and you're seeing that a lot of the people you contact, they're like, what? I never submitted a lead for this, or they don't really remember you, or they don't seem that interested, you might want to switch to higher intent, okay? Just because you've made it so easy for people to become a lead that they're doing it and forgetting about it, they're not that interested, and that could be a waste of time. But that doesn't always happen, so to begin with, I would certainly go with more volume, right, to get started. Then we have an intro, so you can see we've got a background here. You can use the image from your ad or upload a specific image. Completely up to you and what it is you're offering, whether or not you want to do that. Most of the time you're going to use the one from the ad. There is nice continuity there. If someone clicks on an ad of yours with an image and then the same image is there, they can see it's part of the same thing. If they click on it, it's a different image, they might be a little bit like something's gone wrong. So unless you have like a specific reason for uploading a different image, then you can certainly just go with the default of the image that's in your ad. Okay. And then after the image, we've got the sort of greeting, which is recommended but not required. You can come down and remove this greeting, but it'd basically be like an opening page, if that makes sense. You can see that you've got information here and then they click the next button afterwards. I could have something in this headline. I'd normally keep it really simple and just basically describe what's going on. So free Facebook advertising strategy session. So basically, when someone clicks on an ad, they can see that it's free Facebook advertising strategy session. And then you've got the image. It's all congruent with the ad they originally saw. So it all sort of makes sense. They can progress and move on. You can include additional details, so you can prove some more information. So if you wanted to include like just basically the offer, so this could be like free bespoke kitchen quote would be my headline, something like that. And then I might say something like, click the next button below to sign up for your free session now. Okay, whether you want to add this in is very much up to you. I said you can completely remove it. You could just go with a title, something along these lines, explaining the process is usually what I'd go for. You have to remember that whilst Facebook lead ads have been a thing for quite a long time, have you interacted with many as a user? Still quite a lot of people that don't really get it, don't really understand them too much. That's becoming less every day, obviously, but still people that aren't super familiar with them. So being able to explain the process at every step is only helpful. Okay, then we get into the questions. Now, in fact, let me get rid of this because I'm going to explain some of this and let me get rid of that. So this here is the default that you will get. Contact information, email, full name, right? So this in description here comes in let me just write that in again. Comes in this little section here, which you can see on the right hand side. So what Facebook say is let people know how the information they give you will be used or shared. So you could have something like enter your info below and we'll be in touch to get your free strategy session booked. As in, they completely know, like they need to give you their contact information. You will then contact them in order to get this offer booked in. Again, free bespoke kitchen quote, give us your info, we'll give you a call back and we'll get the quote or get information from you, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's the sort of thing you usually put in there. You don't have to put anything in there, but if you do, that's what you put in. So email and full name is great. That's definitely information that we want. One other thing you really, really want to make sure you grab hold of, and that's in ad category, contact fields, blah, 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 phone number. As I've already alluded to, with Facebook lead ads, it's very easy for someone to just click a few buttons, sign up to become a lead, and then move on with their day, keep scrolling on their feed, completely forget they did it. If you try and email that person, are they that interested and invested? you're likely to just hear crickets, right? No one gets back to you when you email them out. By grabbing someone's phone number, you can give them a call. And once you get them on the phone, they are obviously interested in what you offered, otherwise they would have never bothered to interact with the ad in the first place. So they are interested. If you get them on the phone, you've got a much better chance of progressing them along the sales funnel than if you just send out an email. So whether it's then getting that free consultation booked in, much, much easier to do on the phone. So I'd strongly recommend you get phone numbers and where possible, call people fairly quickly after they become a lead, right? So waiting 24 hours makes a big difference. If you can catch someone within a few hours, whilst they're still excited about it, whilst it's still fresh in their mind, that's much better. You can add other information if you want. I usually wouldn't I wouldn't recommend it to start with. I'd go with this sort of setup. One of the things we often do is we'll start with this setup and we'll assess lead quality. If we feel like the quality needs to improve, like we're getting too many leads that just aren't that interested, then we may add some other questions, some other information that just segments people, makes it so that only the people that are a bit more involved and invested in this process actually go through and become leads, okay? But there's all sorts of things you can ask for, location-based stuff, work-based information, things like that, right? Not quite as much as there used to be, but still a bunch of info you could ask for that could be helpful. Right, next we've got privacy. So here you need to include a link to your privacy policy. So that's probably going to be a page on your website already. Obviously you're collecting users' data here, right? So you need to then tell them how that data is going to be used, all that sort of stuff. If you do not have a privacy policy link on your website, because I've had this question a whole bunch, well, I don't have one. Well, you should have one and you need one. And even if you only make one for the purpose of being able to run lead ads, it's still worth doing. It doesn't take very long, not very complicated. You can find templates online. Go ahead and grab that in. So you just add a link to your privacy policy there. And then the link text is, you can see that it's here, view Ben Heath's privacy policy. I could change that to something else if I wanted to, right? I could change it to view Lead Guru's privacy policy because that's technically my business name. But that's absolutely fine. And you can also add a custom disclaimer if you particularly want. Again, that'll be up to you, the business you operate in, what your lawyer or whoever your data manager says. Okay. And then we've finally got completion. So once they've clicked that submit button, the default is this: thanks, you're set. You can visit our website or exit the form now. So if they click on the button below, it takes to view website. You can change these, by the way. So you could change that to download or call business if that's what you want. I would normally leave it as view website. And I would also add in a link to your website there, obviously, because that's quite important. This is fine. Thanks, you're all set. You can visit our website or exit the form now. I would normally leave that maybe as it is and change this to something like, we'll be in touch shortly to arrange your free strategy session. Something really nice and simple like that, not overly complicated, but just again, making sure that they know, the user knows exactly what's going on, exactly what they can expect, all that sort of stuff. Then you can go ahead and hit publish. I'm obviously not going to do that because it's an example ad account. And you are all good to go. You've got, just leave that up, finish the video. You've got the campaign set up, the ad set up, the ad set up, and the lead form set up. Lots of other things you can do, lots of other elements you can add, but I don't want this video to be 3 days long. I've got all sorts of videos on all other stuff, right? Like campaign structure, how many ads you should have, all those things. So check the video description out for those. Check out my YouTube channel for that stuff. Hopefully this has been really useful, whether you're getting started with Facebook advertising, you're starting with Facebook lead ads, or perhaps you've been running other types of campaigns and now you're running lead generation campaigns, or perhaps you've been running lead generation campaigns for a while, but you just want to know how to do it properly. Hopefully that's been helpful. If it has, comment below to let me know. That's always much appreciated. Don't get to all the comments, but I do see them. And before you go, a couple of free things I want to mention that's very, very important. So the first is a free webinar that I've created called 3 Killer Facebook Ad Strategies to Double or More Your Revenue. And in this webinar, we break down 3 different Facebook advertising sales funnels that we use all the time for our clients. These sales funnels are very much tried and tested, very much proven. We've generated literally millions of dollars with each, and you can absolutely model from these sales funnels. And I'll show you step by step how they work in this webinar. And I also explain in the webinar which sales funnel you should use for your business, because businesses offering certain products and services need very different setups to businesses offering other products and services. And I explain all that in the webinar. So completely free, 60, 70 minutes long. I think you'd be very, very happy you went through it. If you do, link is in the video description. Other free thing I want to mention is my Facebook ads mastermind group. So I've got a Facebook group that has just over 65,000 members as of the recording of this video. An amazing community full of people like you who want better results from Facebook advertising. It's literally one of the biggest communities of Facebook advertisers in the world. It is an amazing place, super, super proud of it. And yeah, people get the questions answered all day, every day. I do free live trainings in there. Everyone's helping each other out. It's a great place to be. If that sounds like something you want to be part of, go ahead and click on the link in the video description below. There'll be another link through to the group. Go ahead and join, free to do so. And we'd love to have you in there. As I said, if this is useful, comment below to let me know. Comment below with any questions. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And best of luck with your Facebook ad campaigns, guys. Best of luck with your Facebook lead ads. And I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye.